There are numerous realities, parallel ones in fact, not the plurality of a multiverse, but something that is in plain sight and occupies the same space and planet and air and time, three of which are glaringly obvious. But to see them means peeling back the facade of global economics and challenging what that dependency actually is in reality, rather than the post-truth we are bombarded with through employer-employee dynamics and a media preoccupied not with the serious questions, but the obscenities that power people get away with. Parallel reality number one. So it's a simple illustration, but it sort of sums up what's happening to our world, doesn't it, with the placing money first. But money does not make the world go round. That's something you'll struggle to convince someone in the street of, let alone any politician or capitalist. But how much trade and everyday transactions involve physical cash? In this sense, it can be said most of the capitalist system is already a non-monetary economy. Our salaries, the things we pay for, mostly electronic exchanges. Economists will say that it is money, but it isn't money. It's not currency, it's just figures. So it isn't material, and that's a very important point, that it's not, most of it is not material. Certainly super rich hardly ever touch the stuff. It's way beneath them. Accounting makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round. Accounting. Exchanges in figures that could easily be hieroglyphs. No monetary and mineral reserves, precious metals and commodities, artworks or petrodollars in heavily secured basements and Faraday cages cover the extent of world monetary commerce, or effectively supplement it even. But astonishingly, capitalism is hardly the largest non-monetary economy. So if virtual abstract figures run the world and can achieve all those things for the 1%, can you imagine the shift if the 99% can create their own virtual market and crucially, collectively dictate its terms? Parallel reality number two. And this is the shock. This economy already exists. And what is worse, capitalists everywhere utilize it to boost their profits, though currently only in a meagre way. What I'm about to propose is something every capitalist and accountant worth a salt should frenetically start tapping away at. This economy is not only the vast expansion of non-government organisations, charities and agencies, campaign networks, voluntary groups and international refugee and crisis organisations. These are the ones that are visible above the surface, the ones that we know about and can see the work that they're doing. It's not even the economy of state, that of business and predominantly foreign business, propped up and facilitating profits in the private sector from public taxation, subsidised again by the above non-monetary labour. It's not, in addition, the unaccounted for economy of black markets and loopholes and havens, nor the figures saved by being omitted from tax declarations. And it's not the charitable donations that only come from everyday people's expendable income, but from the virtual figures afforded by those charities in match funding and concessions. It's also not merely the self-created currency of circular economies, alternative, complementary or cryptocurrencies, nor even the cumulative global exchange of the physical and virtual commons. So we have all of that visible activity and organisations that are vast, and they've had to be vast and expand because of neoliberal economic policies. This economy is the untapped everyday reality that functions everywhere by everyone, exchanged or not, during the long periods between monetary transactions. This is all the work around the world that gets done without money and without payment of any kind far outweighing paid employment. It's the real economy of the 99% operating without money. What some term social capital, another term is abstract labour. Non-commercial everyday activity that never makes the news. This is the economy capitalists seek to monetise, but cannot due to their neoliberal agendas shooting them in the foot. Some argue that they don't need to, they don't need it. But that's not how capitalists work. Parallel reality number 3. All people, whether engaged politically or commercially or not, of whatever status, including the 1% capitalists, are dependents. Capitalists are dependents on their success and share of the global market and financialisation well beyond their control. Politicians of all persuasions are dependents, if in dictatorships and police military states, on loyalty and looking over their shoulders. If in democracies, on their popularity, though they only require that in polls, not really in real effect. This is the dependency most people think is immovable and irreplaceable. Yet the critical masses, marginalised and disempowered by it, they carry on. They carry on living and working without it. And more than ever, it has to be said, some do not. The missed trick. Whilst the 99% are diverted by greater demands on their time, energies and resources to keep providing loved ones food, shelter and energy, the same powers motivates capitalists to monetise as much of this market as possible. Even their insatiable greed can be diverted for mutual advantage. The solution is to devise a new market by the 99% and on their terms, one that is not dependent on monetary transaction, but enables every individual to engage initially in the capitalist productivity, the capitalist market. This is not a revolution in kindness or ethics, but an implementable, inalienable, self-contained right, regardless of age, capability or status, to earn virtual value that remains crucially separate from the monetary economy, but spendable in the monetary economy. Its engagement with global commerce will affect it only positively, expanding the market beyond anything currently available, while radicalising employment practices, incentives and relationships. It will cost no one, neither the wealthiest capitalist nor the poorest survivor, a single penny. Only the 99% have the necessity and motivation to form this economy. It cannot and must not be co-opted under political or commercial control, yet it will afford capitalists increased monetary wealth as well as surpassing virtual wealth, unattainable using money. Let capitalists have all the money if the rest of the world no longer needs it. Some will still prefer money, but they'll be envious of what they see the non-monetary economy achieving: an end to poverty, beyond optimum employment, reduced hours without reduced wages, which employers will actually no longer foot the bill for, so they will be freed from having to pay wages. Redefined flexible concepts of work and practices affecting working relationships, migration, profits, debt, productivity, quality, eco-tech and non-carbon energy research, rapid industry to remedy global warming, re-incentivising of corporate motives, restructuring and compensating of social disintegration and infrastructure, remedied international conflicts, bipartisan initiatives and potentially the eradication of the politicians' Achilles heel, taxation. All this activity will constitute the fifth industrial eco-revolution. If we examine the detail, and obviously the book can do that much further, this is really what's on offer to us. The parallel reality of the non-monetary economy already exists and is established in many forms globally. So there are already non-monetary economies around the globe, and some of them are national in scale. Beware the post-truth pathology of crash and burn panicked economics that would convince you this is unrealistic. It requires no giant leap of faith, but only a small step to make this accessible to everyone. Within 2 years, it could be done with the right organisations. And that's using existing organisations, existing methods, existing processes. Sitting pretty capitalists will never tolerate opposition to their existing power. All we have to do is examine these options and choose them collectively to form the largest inclusive economic force. Given specifics and an easy pathway to fulfilment, everyday people will simply get on with recovering equilibrium far faster than debating with ideological or politicised moralists. So who will actually take responsibility and douse the growing fire instead of being diverted towards enflaming it? A comparison of 66 books and papers and 649 global networks and extended affiliates dealing with the fallout of neoliberalism reveals something shocking. As close as neoliberalism has brought us to catastrophe and mass extinction, it's also brought us within a hair trigger of an immediately implementable non-monetary economy and the liberation all people so desperately need.